University Challenge. Asking the questions. Siddhartha Basu.
Hello and welcome to University Challenge on BBC World. We've arrived at the penultimate stage of the contest. It's the first of our two semi-finals in our nationwide quiz contest for college and university teams. And it's a face-off between two teams from the south, both with impressive track records in this year's contest. From Chennai, we have the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, one of India's elite engineering institutions. Their team has been on a roll so far. We watched them on 3 occasions, winning decisively each time, posting sizable scores of 175, 170, and in the quarterfinal, they totted up a mammoth 250 points. Good teamwork has worked to their advantage, and it's helped to have a few stars on the starters. Will the law of averages take their side? We'll know better at the end of this match. Let's meet the team from IIT Madras.
Hi, I am Chennai and I live in Bangalore. And I sincerely believe that all we need to do is to make sure we keep talking.
Hi, I'm Karthik Srivatsa from Chennai. I've thought I had enough of these smart alky quotes. I would just like to dedicate this to the Wank.
And their captain.
Hello, I'm Shamant Madhavrao, also known as Captain Outrageous. I belong to the quizzing team No Questions Asked. I think it's a wonderful feeling being on top of the world for the rest of my life.
Hello, I'm Siddhartha Banerjee. I'm from Delhi and I'm very grateful for the fact that I get by with a little help from my friends.
And that's a team from IIT Madras. In opposition, we have a team from Kozhikode, and that's the Indian Institute of Management. They've cruised through the early rounds, beating Delhi College of Engineering 135 to 80, the Birla Institute of Technology and Science Pilani 155 to 125, and finally held off a last stage surge in the quarterfinals from the College of Engineering Gindi at Chennai 155 to 130. They've shown range and grit getting here. Will they be able to make a match of it in this semi-final? That's what we are here to find out. Let's meet the team from IIM Kozhikode.
Hi, I'm Sanjeev Jayakumar from Chennai. Over the years, I've seen that things tend to happen when you least expect them to. And for this contest, I have no expectations.
Hello, I'm Abhishek Sinha from Patna. I love smiles and sleeping, and my favorite questions appear only in quizzes.
And the captain.
Hi, my name is Gaurav Galarkeri and I'm from Bangalore. Team IMK has had a real blast on University Challenge so far, and we're looking forward to a good match today.
Hi, I'm Suraj V. Kumar from Trichur, Kerala. After I complete my course, I plan to travel across the country and write a book, The Hitchhiker's Guide to India.
And that's a team from IIM Kozhikode. The rules in the semi-final are exactly as before. Starter questions are worth 10 points to be answered on the buzzer without consultation. A correct answer on a starter fetches a team 3 bonus questions worth 5 points apiece, which may be answered by consultation. At the bell, whoever has more points is the winner. That's all there is to it. Best of luck, teams. May the best team win. Let's play. Here's the first starter for 10. If the Army Commandos of India are called Paracommandos and the Marine Commandos are called Marcos, after which mythical creature are the Air Force Commandos named? It's Siddharth from IIT Madras.
Garuda.
It's the Garud Commando Force. Good going, good deduction. Bonus questions to you, IIT Madras, on Guru Dronacharya in the Mahabharata. Who was Arjun referring to when he told Dronacharya, "You had pronounced me to be your foremost disciple without an equal, but another disciple of yours has relegated me to the second place"?
Ekalavya.
Correct, 5 points. Who did Dronacharya ask Arjun to bring bound before him as Guru Dakshina?
Drupada.
Correct, the king of Panchal. Which sage gifted his entire armory to Drona?
Parshurama.
That is correct, right all 3 times. 25 on the board. Here's the next starter for both teams. Which sportsperson founded with Bart Connor a television production company called Perfect 10 Productions Incorporated? And it's Siddharth once again from IIT Madras.
Anil Kumble.
That is incorrect. The question passes. Anybody from IIM Kozhikode? Abhishek.
Nadia Comaneci.
That is the correct answer, 10 points. Bart Connor is the husband of Nadia Comaneci. So you get a set of bonus questions, IIM Kozhikode, on countries with multiple capitals. What is the legislative capital of the country of which Putrajaya is now the administrative capital where the Prime Minister's office is located?
Sri Lanka. Kuala Lumpur and...
That is correct, 5 points. While Cape Town is the legislative capital and Pretoria the administrative capital, which town is the judicial capital of South Africa?
Bloemfontein.
Correct, another 5 points. Known as Gravenhage or Den Haag locally, which European city is the seat of the government of its country, even though its constitution recognizes another city as the capital?
The Hague.
It is The Hague, correct. Well done. Right all 3 times. Both teams running absolutely level at the end of 2 cycles of questions. Here's the next starter for 10. Which New York-based Citibank executive did General Musharraf appoint as Pakistan's finance minister after he took over power? And it's Suraj from IIM Kozhikode.
Mansoori.
No, that's incorrect. That's an interruption. That's 5 points taken away. I'll complete the question for IIT Madras. Which New York-based Citibank executive did General Pervez Musharraf appoint as Pakistan's finance minister after he took over power in a bloodless coup in 1999? Chinmay from IIT Madras.
Shaukat Aziz.
That is the correct answer. Who's now the 21st Prime Minister of Pakistan? 10 points to you, IIT Madras. And you get a set of bonus questions on tennis quotes. When asked about his record at Wimbledon, who replied, "Grass is for cows"?
Ivan Lendl.
That is correct. 5 points. Whose autobiography's title, taken from his celebrated outburst at the 1981 Wimbledon, is "You Cannot Be Serious"?
John McEnroe.
John McEnroe is the correct answer. Which American, the youngest to be ranked #1, answered "Bah" when asked to name a female sheep that sounded like a letter of the alphabet on the television show The Weakest Link?
Andy Roddick.
It is Andy Roddick, right all 3 times. IIM Kozhikode at this stage have 20 on the board. They lost 5 due to a mistake. But in the lead with 50, it's IIT Madras. Now it's the visual round. First one, here's a starter, so all eyes on the screens and fingers on the buzzer. Identify this personality who founded a religious sect. It's Siddhartha from IIT Madras.
Swami Prabhupada of ISKCON.
That's right, that's the correct answer. 10 points to you, Siddhartha. IIT Madras, you get a sort of bonus question on national flags. Which European dynasty of French origin does the white on this national flag indicate?
Okay, Bourbon.
Bourbon is correct, 5 points. Which family does the sun depicted on this flag represent?
Ranas.
That is correct, another 5 points. The Ranas of Nepal. The red and white colors on this flag represent the Grimaldi family. Which European principality's flag is this?
San Marino.
No, it's Monaco, which is the correct answer. Missed just one over there. Here's the next starter for 10 for both teams. In Hindu mythology, Vishnu took the form of which celestial virgin to recover Amrit? It's Abhishek from IIM Kozhikode.
Mohini.
Mohini is the correct answer, that's right. He did that to recover Amrit from the Asurs who had fled with it after the Amrit Manthan. And so IIM Kozhikode, you get a set of bonus questions on imaginary creatures. Which term used in biology for a plant with tissues from 2 or more genetically distinct cells was originally the name of a monster killed by the mythical character Bellerophon?
Chimera.
Is the correct answer. 5 points. The name of a monster from Greek myth, half woman and half serpent, is now the common name for which genus of egg-laying mammals found in Australia?
Platypus.
No, it's Echidna, who was also mythically the mother of Chimera. The offspring of Typhoon and Echidna, which 9-headed monster's name is now the common name for a genus of freshwater polyps belonging to the phylum Coelenterata?
The Hydra.
Is correct. So 5 points for that. You're at 40 now. IIM Kozhikode, IIT Madras, you're on 70. That's the way things are in this first semi-final of University Challenge. Here's the next starter for 10, fingers on the buzzer. What was the surname of the brothers James and William from Gloucestershire, who founded a company in 1873 in Chicago? And it's Siddhartha from IIT Madras.
Unilever.
That is incorrect, so 5 points taken away for going for it prematurely. I'll complete the question for IIM Kozhikode. What was the surname of the brothers James and William from Gloucestershire, who founded a company in 1873 in Chicago to manufacture a patented malt milk drink as an artificial infant food? Yes, it's Sanjeev from IIM Kozhikode. You went for the buzzer.
McDonald.
McDonald. No, the correct answer is Horlick, which is the correct answer. Next, another starter, open to both teams. The game of shogi, which means general's game in Japanese, is a variation of which popular game? And it's Shaman from IIT Madras.
Chess.
That is correct, 10 points. Bonus questions for you, IIT Madras, on Indian trains named after people. From Delhi to which town in Uttar Pradesh does the Kaifiyat Express run?
Azamgarh.
That is the correct answer. That's where it comes from. Kaifi Azmi comes from Azamgarh. What is the name of train numbers 6205 and 6206 that ply between Mysore and Bangalore?
Tipu Express.
That's the part of the country you come from, Shaman, so just your luck that you got that question. Yes, it's the Tipu Express after Tipu Sultan. After which spiritual leader is the express between Palghat town and Thiruvananthapuram called Amrita Express?
Mata Amritanandamayi.
That is correct. You got 5 points. Here's the next starter for 10 for both teams. What word did British journalist Mark Simpson coin in 1994 to describe its shaman from IIT Madras?
Metrosexual.
Metrosexual is the right answer. You get a set of bonus questions at IIT Madras on natural satellites in the solar system. Which is the only satellite in the solar system known to have clouds and an atmosphere?
Titan.
Correct, 5 points. Which is the only large satellite known to travel in the opposite direction to the rotation of its planet?
Io.
No, it's Triton, which is a satellite of Neptune. Previously known to have only 2 satellites, the spacecraft Voyager 2 flew past which planet in 1989, revealing the presence of 6 more satellites, subsequently named Naiad, Thalasia, Despina, Galatea, Larissa, and Proteus?
Neptune.
That is the correct answer. There we are. That's the halfway point of this first semi-final of University Challenge, and at this stage, let's take a quick glance at the scores. IIM Kozhikode are on 40, cruising on ahead at 110. The leaders are IIT Madras. IIT Madras are on a roll, but will they be able to hang on to that huge lead? We'll find out in the second half of the semi-final, which we'll conduct after a very short break. Till then, stay with us. Welcome back to this first semi-final of University Challenge, which we are playing between the Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode, and the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. At this stage, the IIT Madras team have a lead of 70. But who will walk into the final of this year's contest? To find out, let's play. Here's the next starter for both teams on the buzzer. Which astronomer's major work, the Revolutionibus Orbium Celestium? It's Chennai from IIT Madras.
Johannes Kepler.
That is incorrect, so 5 points taken away for going for it prematurely. I'll complete the question for IIM Kozhikode. Which astronomer's major work, De Revolutionibus Orbium Celestium, on the revolutions of the celestial spheres, was finished in 1530, but published just before his death in 1543, describing his heliocentric theory? Gaurav.
Copernicus.
That is the correct answer, 10 points to you. You got a set of bonus questions, IIM Kozhikode, on the history of Iraq. Which city did Al-Mansur, the second caliph of the Abbasid dynasty, build as his capital in 762 AD?
Basra?
No, it's not. It's Baghdad. In 1401, after sacking Aleppo and Damascus, which conqueror destroyed the city of Baghdad and massacred 20,000 of its citizens?
Genghis Khan?
No, it's Timur the Lame. Which leader was wounded in an assassination attempt on the Iraqi Prime Minister Abd al-Karim Qasim in 1959, escaped to Syria and Egypt, where he studied at the Cairo Law School and continued his studies at the Baghdad Law College?
Saddam Hussein?
That is correct. You got 5 points. And so, here's the next starter for 10. Who was the only president of India to have been knighted by the King of Britain in 1931? It's Siddhartha from IIT Madras.
V.V. Giri.
It's not V.V. Giri. Anybody from IIM Kozhikode? Sanjeev.
Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan.
That is correct. You get 10 points. You get a set of bonus questions, IIM Kozhikode, on weapons of medieval ages. What kind of weapons were the Persian Shamshir, Arabian Zulfikar and Turkish Sailab that found its way into India along with the Sultanate?
Artillery, cannon?
No, it's swords. The Rajputs had a variety known as kapwa. The Mughals had their khanjar. What kind of weapons were these?
Daggers?
Correct, 5 points. What type of steel, named after a Middle Eastern city and considered by some experts as being derived from Indian ukku steel, was used for manufacturing these sharp implements?
Damascus steel.
Or damask is the correct answer. Another 5 points to you there. It's the audio round next, so here's the first starter for 10 points for both teams. Which comedian lent his voice to this track? Sanjeev from IIM Kozhikode.
Mahmood.
Mahmood is the correct answer. Well done. And that was an excerpt from Muttu Kulika Varigala from the film Do Fool in 1973, directed by S. Ramanathan. Sanjeev, you earn your team 3 bonus questions in this audio round on playback singers in South Indian films. The song is taken from the highly acclaimed film Chennai, which was made in 1965. Identify the versatile singer singing here. Listen.
Manna Dey.
Manna Dey is the correct answer from Chennai. Next, which singer has sung this Malayalam song? Yes, you have the answer.
Asha Bhosle?
It's not Asha Bhosle, it's Big Sister, Lata Mangeshkar. And that's from the film Nellu, with music by Salil Chaudhary. Next, which established Hindi playback singer's voice is this? Do you have the answer?
Sukhwinder Singh?
It's not Sukhwinder Singh, it's Udit Narayan. Here's the next starter for 10 for both teams. In which country did Indian troops participate in UN peacekeeping operations for the first time between 1950 and 1953? It's Abhishek from IIM Kozhikode.
Korea?
That is the correct answer, 10 points. You get a set of bonus questions, IIM Kozhikode, on non-governmental organizations or NGOs in India. Which renowned women's self-help organization was set up in 1971-72 as a trade union in Ahmedabad to help women employed in the unorganized sector?
Seva.
That is the correct answer, Self-Employed Women's Association. Which organization did former flight purser Ripan Kapoor and 6 of his friends start in 1978, which worked towards restoring basic rights to underprivileged children?
CRY, Child Relief.
Child Relief, and you, CRY, is correct. 50% of the royalty receipts of City of Joy by Dominique Lapierre go into the running of which NGO based in Kolkata for leprosy-stricken children?
Missionaries of Charity.
No, it's not. It's Udayan, which is the correct answer. Right, and at this stage, IIM Kozhikode at 110, just 5 points ahead of IIT Madras, who led till the first half. And now, we've got 5 minutes left for the hooter. It's the last slap. Both teams go for it. Fingers on the buzzer. Originally named Sextilis because it was the 6th month in the Roman calendar. Which month of the year is now named after the first Roman emperor? And it's Siddhartha from IIT Madras.
July.
No, it's not. The question passes. Anybody from IIM Kozhikode? Sanjeev.
August.
That is the correct answer. 10 points to you. Named after Gaius Octavius. And you get a set of bonus questions on national days. Commemorating the founding of the colony of New South Wales in 1788, on which date, also a national holiday in India, does Australia celebrate Australia Day?
January 26.
That is correct. 5 points. Which Asian country was proclaimed a republic on August 15, 1948, the day being celebrated as Liberation Day?
South Korea.
That is correct. Another 5 points. Which West African country and former French colony celebrates its Independence Day on October 2nd, the day celebrated in India as Gandhi Jayanti?
Ghana.
No, it's Guinea, which is the correct answer. But you're at 130 now. I'm Kozhikode. IIT Madras, you're on 105. Have to break back if you want to make it. Here's the next starter for 10. Which country's monetary unit, the peso, consists of 10,000 australs? And it's Sanjeev from IIM.
Argentina.
Argentina is the correct answer. Well done, 10 points. Just under 4 minutes left on the clock. Your bonus set, IIM Kozhikode, is words for large numbers. What is the Greek word for 10,000, which came to be used in a figurative sense to mean countless, as 10,000 itself is such a large number and difficult to count?
Myriad.
Myriad is correct, 5 points. When describing the name of this number, Dr. Edward Kastner remarked in his 1940 book, Mathematics and the Imagination, it's not even approximately a Russian author.
Google.
That is correct, another 5 points. What number is 10 raised to the power of Google and is so large that there would not be space to write it even if you went to the furthest star across the entire nebula and put zeros every inch of the way?
Googleplex.
That is correct, right all 3 times. You're at 155. Here's the next starter for 10 for both teams. Which wartime piece of Dutch literature was first published in 1947? And somebody's gone for it. It's Siddhartha from IIT Madras.
Diary of Anne Frank.
It's Anne Frank's diary, correct. 10 points to you. Bonus question for you, IIT Madras, with 3 minutes left on the buzzer on breeds of chicken. Which common breed of chicken is named after an Italian port town on the Ligurian Sea from where it was exported in the early 19th century across the world? Do you have the answer?
Genoa.
No, it's Leghorn. Which variety of miniature yet hardy chicken were erroneously thought to have originated in a Javanese port? Do you have the answer?
Pass.
It's Bantam. Next. Which American state has a chicken as its state bird from where it has now spread across the world?
Kentucky.
No, it's Rhode Island, which is the correct answer. A blank on the bonuses there, IIT Madras. Here's the next starter for 10. Instituted in 1993, after whom is the National Award for Adventure Sports in India named? And it's Shaman from IIT Madras.
Tenzing Norgay.
That is correct, 10 points to you. Bonus question for you, IIT Madras, on playback singers. Which playback singer whose maiden surname was Roy trained under composer Hanuman Prasad and had her first hit with the song Mera Sundar Sapna from the 1947 film Do Bhai?
Geeta Dutt.
Correct. Who made his playback singing debut in 1944 with the Punjabi film Gul Baloch?
Mohammad Rafi.
That is correct, another 5 points. Son of Augustine Joseph, which playback singer trained in Carnatic music under the legendary Chembai Vedinatha Bhagavata?
KJ Yesudas.
That is correct, another 5 points to you. You're on 140 IIT Madras. Here's the next starter for 10. Cynia capillata, commonly called lion's mane, is the largest variety of what invertebrate sea animal? And it's Siddhartha from IIT Madras.
Jellyfish.
That is the correct answer, 10 points to you. There's a difference of just 5 points between you and I am Kozhikode. Your bonus questions, IIT Madras, are on words that mean different things in singular and plural. Which English word denoting a time period reckoned from a definite date is the plural form of the word aes, a coinage unit from Roman times?
Aeon.
No, it's era. Next. Which English word means money in coined form in the singular and represents the basic unit of taxonomic classification in the plural?
Currency.
No, it's specie or species. Next. Which singular English word that denotes a creative work has a plural form used as the name for a form of musical entertainment?
Opus.
Opus is correct. You get 5 points. So we have a tie now. Both teams tied on 155. Next starter, open to both teams. Which French philosopher, scientist claimed that God created 2 kinds of substances that make up reality? Thinking substance like mind and extended substance like bodies. And it's Shaman from IIT Madras.
Pascal.
It's not Pascal. Question passes. Anything from IIM Kozhikode. Suraj.
René Descartes.
René Descartes is the correct answer, 10 points. You get a set of bonus questions, IIM Kozhikode, on horses in history. Which Roman emperor is believed to have made his horse Incitatus a senator?
Caligula.
That is correct. Next, a statue of which military commander during the Battle of Waterloo shows him seated on his favorite mount, Copenhagen, now stands on Round Hill in the garrison town of Aldershot?
Napoleon.
No, it's Duke of Wellington. In a Shakespearean play, which king's stallion was the roan Barbary?
Macbeth.
No, it's Richard II, which is the correct answer. We move on to the next starter for 10. Which composer's 1802 letter to his brothers, and it's time! It couldn't be closer. That was a terrific semi-final that we have. IIT Madras, after an emphatic lead in the first half, fell behind in the second half. They put up a great fight, but they lost by a hair's breadth to the eventual winners, the Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode. Congratulations. That was one humdinger of a semi-final, and so IIT Madras give way to the Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode, for a place in the finals of University Challenge. Next week, it's another semi-final of University Challenge. Don't miss it for anything. Till then, goodbye from IIT Madras.
Bye.
Bye.
It's goodbye from IIM Kozhikode.
Bye.
And it's goodbye from me, Siddhartha Basu. Goodbye.